Oh, hi. Hey there. Sorry, I got so sucked into this book. Have you ever had that happen before? Where you were reading a story, playing a video game, watching a movie, and you just get so into what you're watching or reading or hearing that the rest of the world just kind of fades away. Well, that's how I feel about stories. And human beings, we're storytellers. We have been since the dawn of time. So today, I want to tell you a story full of Greek gods, steampunk, and a little bit of Victorian fashion. But I'm not going to tell it alone. I am going to tell you the story with a couple of good friends of mine who also believe in the power of storytelling. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's Magical Girl Kit Kat, and I know it's been a while, and I want to say thank you to everyone for your kind words, your messages over the last really 3.5 weeks. Just an update, my dad is doing wonderfully well. Surgery went great. He is healing and recovering well, and I appreciate your patience as I've come back to Texas and have adapted and kind of just got back into the swing of things. But I'm very excited to be here today because this is a project that has been in the works since May. So I am a horrible secret keeper and I've had to keep this from you guys for several months, and I'm excited to share it with you today. So to get started, where did this all stem from, essentially? Back in May, I reached out to Kid and Kat, Corey and Anna, with Kid and Kat Shop. I have admired their work for a long time, had bought a few of their starter kits, and have seen the cool pieces that they've done custom for other channels, such as Diana Doll Fairy, and have seen that they've gone into some cosplay pieces, and I asked if they would be interested in collaborating, and they were so kind and said yes. So we scheduled a time to talk, and while we were talking and kind of going back and forth with ideas, one thing that really stuck out to us was we had a love for Greek and like ancient mythology. So we decided it would be cool to do some kind of a cosplay that dealt with Greek mythology, but set in maybe a different time period than traditional Greek. And as we started to talk, I thought of my Lady Disdain, Sandee and John. For those of you who don't know, Sandee and John have a background in historical theater and costuming. And I knew that Sandee would be an excellent person to bring into this project because she would have the period knowledge and would probably be able to help us decide on a theme or a time period where we could set the Greek story. And when we brought her into the mix, she and John, they presented the idea of steampunk and the Victorian era. And we loved that idea. I've never worked with steampunk before, so we thought that this would be a really cool challenge for all of us and to kind of determine what characters we wanted to showcase and how we were going to do that. So I had chosen Hades to be my character. And of course, I don't have any male dolls, and I love the power of gender bending. So I wanted Valiant to play the role of Hades. What we all decided on was we were going to create stories for whatever characters we chose to showcase, and we would tell a story. And all of our stories would tie in together and we would work and collab with one another for ideas, for creations, to make this a really cohesive world and to transport you, our viewers, to a really special place that was completely created from our minds. So that being said, let me tell you a story. So Hades,
Name is Hades, Lord of the Dead. Hi, how you doing?
also known as Pluto, is the ruler of the underworld. Dissatisfied with her assignment, which, if you know the history, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades all drew straws.
Love to, babe. But unlike you gods lounging about up here, I regrettably have a full-time gig that you, by the way, so charitably bestowed on me, Zeus.
And we all know that Hades got the short stick and was assigned to the underworld. She ruled the underworld with little involvement, assigning duties to other beings such as the Furies, who were the punishers of the wrongdoers, or Charon, who was the boat keeper and protector of the River of Styx. Hades was known to never leave the underworld because she was disliked by the gods and humans alike. She filled her loneliness with her dog, Cerberus.
Hey! Cerberus, drop it. Come on, now. Drop it. Lousy mutt. We're living in bones are us, and he's got to use my stuff for a chew toy. Hey!
And occasional visits from Hermes.
Oh, we're in trouble. Oh, big trouble.
Zeus, the ruler of the gods, had recently become concerned when the development of new technology and science led the people away from the gods, deeming them irrelevant. Concerned, Zeus ordered the Olympians to take on human forms and work and live among the humans to better understand them. Hades decides to become the regional director of Fiat IFTA, which stands for the World Organization of Funeral Operations, which governs practices of all of the professionals that deal with funerals and the keeping of the dead. She also takes an interest in science and medical practices. Sadly, she discovers that her ignorance and separation from her employers in the underworld was leading to problems. Charon was not letting the unburied souls pass by the River of Styx. That mostly preferential treatment was given to heroes, the wealthy, any demigods who passed through. Hades fixes this issue by requiring all churches and hospitals to bury the deceased. Also known as the goddess of wealth, due to all the gems and precious metals that are kept under the earth, she invests in the creation and management of all of the local mines in the area, donating all of the funds to churches, charities, and scholars. While she is much more involved in her role, she still appreciates her solitude and, as such, earned herself the title of the Dark Lady. She often wears a black veil to cover her face. Part of the covering of her face is due to the scarring that she received from her father, Kronos. If you know the history of Kronos and his children, jealous of their powers, he swallowed them whole. And while Hades is technically the firstborn, she was the last to be regurgitated from Kronos, and in such was afflicted by the scars that she wears on her face. So to be less frightening to the humans, she often wears a veil to cover herself. So what does this build look like? So one of the very first things that we did was we had a meeting together via Zoom. The meeting was a chance for us to talk about our ideas, kind of give inspiration, and talk about the ways that we could help each other with the build. And so one of the first things that we all decided to do was a sketch. So I have a digital sketch that I did, just very rough. And what I had envisioned for Hades was a like steampunk, but gothic steampunk vibe. So she would be wearing purples, reds, blacks, dark colors. She would have some laces, some leathers, different materials. And then I also wanted to create her dog, Cerberus, who is really her best friend. And I wanted him to be mechanical, like in nature, which is funny because if I insert the photos of like the initial inspiration I had for him,
Kawaii.
he didn't look mechanical at all. But what I ended up doing was I got pieces of vinyl from Danny Chu in one of my orders months ago, and I decided that I wanted to build the majority of Cerberus out of the vinyl pieces and a little bit of just craft foam, which is what I ended up doing. And I feel as though the build was pretty close, the final project, to what I had initially envisioned. So I knew that I was going to be building pants, a top, a corset, and a tailcoat, or what I like to call a butt cape. And I wanted that to be two-toned, where it would be one color in the front and a color in the back. And then I wanted to incorporate gears and other metallic metal pieces or gemstones throughout to showcase her wealth. So without further ado, I am going to insert the photos that really showcase like the up-close detail of Valiant as Hades and Cerberus. And I want to give a lot of credit to Ben, because this was our first time utilizing a green screen. And all of the photos were edited via green screen, which I kind of hope that at first you didn't realize it, that maybe you thought that like we went to this beautiful castle somewhere here in Texas to take those photos. But it was our first time doing that, and Ben really immersed himself in the world of Photoshop and really created this mood, made this feel like true to the story and like the story was coming to life. So let's talk a little bit about the pieces specifically, and I'm gonna start with Cerberus first. Now, as you can see, Cerberus is kind of small, and I didn't really realize the scale at which, sorry, it's got some little dusties on him. I didn't realize what the scale was going to be until after I built. The way that I picture it in my mind is Hades shrinks Cerberus down to be like kind of miniaturized, to not startle and scare the people. But when she is alone in the privacy of her grand estate, Cerberus can return to full size and be the large, domineering, three-headed pup that guards and protects Hades in her underworld. What I ended up doing was taking pieces that I believe were excess cuts of the vinyl doll heads from Danny Chu and stacking them to make this kind of a rounded shape. And I took a couple thigh pieces and glued 3 of them. And the thigh piece was cool because it got thinner toward the top where the cutouts were. So it fit really well when I got this project foam, which was just black, and glued that around it. So all of the pieces are vinyl except for these top pieces of the heads. And then I used foam for the teeth and little metal bits for like the very tip of the nose. And then made the eyes out of rubies. And rubies are very significant, specifically to Hades' design, obviously signifying the wealth of all of those jewels that are in the underworld. And so I wanted the red specific jewels to be consistent throughout all of the build. Now I will talk about Hades. Corey and Anna created these 3D printed horns for Hades, which I love. They came black and they sent me a whole bunch of them. And I kind of got to choose which ones I like for the look and which fit really well. For the horns themselves, I took black acrylic paint and just colored the top part and then used a chromatic eyeshadow to cover the tops to give it kind of a metallic look, which I think turned out really nicely. So the horns were amazing. And then also the earrings that she is sporting. I have a close-up of those up close. Were made by Corey and Anna as well. They are beautiful. I love them. The hairpiece here, which has the veils attached, and the little clippies on the side were made by Katie with Good Life Dolls _. And this cane, walking cane, was created by my good friend Alex. When I was back in Omaha, I got to have one evening crafting with the ladies with Alexandrite doll. I built everything except for the pieces that I discussed. The gloves are from Culture Japan, and the boots are actually, I glued the pieces onto the boots. I customized them, but I did not make the boots. The boots are by Razzle Dazzle shoes here in the US. And I'm going to be ordering more pairs of these since these are the pair that I used for my Star Wars cosplay. Oops. I made the belt out of just a chain that I purchased. And then I found these cute little bottles that I filled with colored sand as kind of an accoutrement accessory for her to wear. And then she also is wearing, so if I take off her veil piece here, you can see using tulle, I made this, I don't even know what to call it, like a shawl with like these little wing bits that are on the side. I think that she made a perfect Hades, and I love that I could throw in the story of Kronos and the markings that she has. I wanted to portray her as someone who is likable and has a good, kind heart and soul, and really just wants the best for the souls of the people that are coming through. And realizing her indifference to everything made her realize how important her role is, and she really wanted to take advantage of that. My final thoughts, I think this is a very beautiful design. I was really grateful for the partnership with my Lady Disdain and Kid & Kat shop. I got a lot of guidance from Sandee on how to build the corset and also guidance on how to do the steel coat. I I'm so grateful to have friends in this community that are as creative as Kit and Kat and my Lady Disdain that bring so much to not only friendships, but the creative side of Smart Doll. And I have so much love and admiration for them and what they do. And I'm grateful that they agreed to do this project with me. So, because this is a story, this is also a choose your own adventure.
Hi, it's Anna. For more Greek god steampunk cosplay, come over to our channel.
Hi, I'm Sandee.
And I'm John.
If you'd like to see how the three fates made their life in the mortal realm, visit us at My Lady Disdain.
As always, thank you for watching and go support my friends. And I hope you enjoy. And just, as always, I love ya. Leave your comments and feedback below. Let me know if you have any questions. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Peace out, bean sprouts. Bye.